What really happened in Grishino? In a short span of time, Russian forces moved in, cleared the area, and raised their flag at the center of the settlement. To many observers, it looked fast, almost effortless. And it raises a bigger question. If Ukraine is backed by advanced NATO technology, why does it sometimes look like it can't stop advances like this? The answer begins long before the first soldier enters the village. The operation in Grishino was built around drone dominance. Russian UAVs continuously monitored the battlefield, tracking Ukrainian troop movements, identifying defensive positions, and exposing any attempt to reinforce the area. This constant surveillance meant there were very few surprises on the ground. At the same time, those drones were not just watching, they were guiding the fight. Russian artillery units received real-time targeting corrections, allowing them to strike with precision. Defensive positions, firing points, and even incoming reserves were systematically targeted. The battlefield was shaped before the assault even began. This is what creates the illusion of speed. By the time Russian assault units advanced, the defending side had already been under sustained pressure. Positions were weakened, movement was restricted, and coordination became more difficult. What looked like a rapid takeover was actually the final stage of a carefully prepared operation. Once inside Grishino, the mission shifted to clearance. Russian troops moved through houses, basements, and nearby wooded areas, locations often used for cover or fallback positions. Every structure had to be checked, every underground space secured. This phase is slow and methodical, but it is what turns temporary presence into real control. The raising of the Russian flag in the center of the settlement marked the completion of that process. It signaled that organized resistance in the immediate area had been removed and that Russian forces had established a stable foothold. In modern warfare, that moment confirms control, not just symbolism. Grishino itself may be small, but its importance lies in positioning. Securing the area strengthens Russia's tactical posture toward the Dobropolie direction, potentially improving access routes and setting conditions for future operations. Small gains like this can have a larger impact when they are part of a broader plan. This also explains why advanced NATO-supplied systems are not always visible in battles like this. The fight in Grishino was localized, fast-moving, and heavily dependent on drones and artillery. Long-range systems are not designed to stop small assault units clearing buildings one by one. Even advanced Western equipment has limitations in this kind of environment. Systems like HIMARS are built for long-range precision strikes, not close combat. Air defense systems such as Patriot are designed to intercept missiles and aircraft, not ground assaults. And tanks like Leopard 2, while powerful, remain vulnerable to drones, mines, and anti-tank weapons in tight terrain. Russia, on the other hand, has adapted its approach. It relies on continuous drone coverage, sustained artillery pressure, and coordinated assault tactics. Electronic warfare is also used to disrupt signals and reduce the effectiveness of opposing systems. In this environment, even advanced technology can struggle if it cannot operate freely. Another key factor is scale. Advanced systems provided to Ukraine are limited in number and cannot cover the entire front line. They are deployed where they are most needed, which means smaller settlements like Grishino are often fought with the forces already on the ground. Logistics also plays a major role. High-intensity combat requires a constant flow of ammunition, fuel, and reinforcements. Russia has maintained a high volume of artillery fire in many sectors, which continues to shape battlefield outcomes. More complex systems, on the other hand, require specialized support and cannot always be used continuously. Terrain adds another layer to the situation. Areas like Grishino, made up of small buildings, open ground, and scattered tree lines, offer limited protection once they are under drone observation. Without strong cover, defensive positions become easier to target and harder to hold. There is also the psychological factor. Continuous surveillance, artillery strikes, and the threat of being surrounded create constant pressure on defending forces. In some cases, tactical withdrawals are necessary to avoid heavier losses. From the outside, this can make advances appear faster than they actually are. Timing and coordination ultimately defined the outcome. The operation in Grishino followed a clear sequence: surveillance, targeting, bombardment, assault, and clearance. Each phase supported the next, creating momentum that becomes difficult to stop once it builds. So when people ask, "Where is NATO?" they may be asking the wrong question. Advanced systems are not designed to control every small battlefield. In places like Grishino, the outcome is decided by how effectively forces integrate drones, artillery, and ground units in real time. What happened in Grishino shows a clear reality of modern warfare. Speed is not created at the moment of attack. It is built through preparation, coordination, and sustained pressure. And in that environment, control is established not by the most advanced weapon, but by the side that can apply its capabilities more consistently and more effectively on the ground. Beyond the immediate assault, the operation in Grishino reflects a broader Russian military strategy that has become increasingly consistent across the front. Instead of relying on rapid and risky breakthroughs, the approach focuses on controlled pressure, identifying weak points, isolating positions, and applying force step by step. Drone reconnaissance, precision artillery, and coordinated ground assaults are combined to gradually reduce enemy resistance without unnecessary losses. This method allows Russian forces to control the tempo of the battlefield. Continuous drone surveillance ensures that movements are tracked, while artillery maintains constant pressure on defensive positions. Rather than reacting, Russian units are able to shape the situation in advance, forcing the opposing side into a defensive and often limited response. In Grishino, this approach created the conditions for a controlled and effective takeover. Another important element is consolidation after capture. Once the village was secured, Russian troops did not simply move on. They stabilized the area by clearing remaining threats, securing buildings, and monitoring nearby positions to prevent counterattacks. This step is critical in turning a successful assault into a lasting tactical advantage. The raising of the Russian flag in the center of Grishino was not just symbolic, it marked the completion of the operation. It confirmed that control had been established and that the area was no longer actively contested. In modern warfare, moments like this carry both military and informational value, signaling presence, control, and momentum. In the end, what happened in Grishino highlights a clear pattern in modern conflict. Victory is not defined by speed alone, but by preparation, coordination, and sustained pressure. The side that can combine surveillance, firepower, and disciplined ground operations will continue to shape the battlefield. And in places like Grishino, the final image of a raised flag is not the beginning of control, it is proof that control has already been secured.